Good morning, everyone. We're going to wait a couple more minutes. We've got some more folks coming in, so just hang out. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. And happy Friday Eve, by the way.
Yes.
Friday. I like it.
Yes, Friday Eve.
Makes Thursday sound so much nicer.
I know, right? It's a thing. Yes.
It's like you say Thursday, it's like, oh, it's Thursday. And then you say, ooh, it's Friday Eve. And everyone's like,
Friday
oh,
Eve.
yeah, Friday
Yeah.
Eve.
I like that.
Yes.
Baby Friday. I like that. That's awesome.
Baby Friday. I like that.
Oh, that's incredible. I love that. Is that like Baby Shark? Only Baby Friday?
Baby shark.
I
Yes,
know.
there we go.
Oh my goodness. That's what I get for going there.
Earworm. Sorry.
Oh, they're coming in fast and furious now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're going to give everybody one more minute, and then we'll get started. Let's turn on speaker mode. There we go. All right. Oop, we got it. Okay, there's Dustin. Got a couple more people. All right. I think we're going to get started. So first of all, good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are. If you're joining us from the East Coast, it's good afternoon. If you're anywhere west of there, still good morning. It's 9 o'clock on the West Coast for me, noon on the East Coast. So we're going to get started. It's great to have you guys here. I see we have a quick question that I think everybody should know from Tammy. Are there any materials associated with this webinar? No, there are not. Everything is going to be on the screen for you, and the two speakers, both myself and Miranda. So nothing that you'll need. Just hang on and enjoy the ride. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. But we're glad that you're here. Today we're going to talk about switching to a .gov website and kind of everything that's involved in that. Most of the folks on this call that I'm aware of are customers, current TownWeb customers. So this will kind of apply to you in one way. If we have anybody who is not a customer, there's just a couple of very small details that we can kind of break out. But either way, if you're a customer or not, we're very happy to have you here. And so we hope, I can tell you, this is not something that I ever went through, a .gov. And Nellet is noting this as well. We'll send out a cheat sheet afterwards via email. So kind of recapping everything that we talk about. So let's just get started. Let's jump in and kind of get going on this. First, we're going to do some intros of our two speakers today. Some of you may know me. I apologize in advance if you do. But my name is Chris Estrella. I am the government content insider for TownWeb. I live in Las Vegas. I absolutely love it. It's going to be under 100 degrees today, so we're all very excited about that. But I was a clerk treasurer in Wisconsin for almost 17 years. I was a past president of the Wisconsin Municipal Clerks Association. I from the clerk perspective, I also was a TownWeb customer across 3 different municipalities throughout my career. So I really became familiar with TownWeb as an end user and getting feedback from my residents and that sort of thing. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is that all 3 of the municipalities that were customers when I was a clerk are still customers. So snaps for them. And then just a little about me. Of course, I'm a huge Packer fan. Many of you that know me know I'm a very large Yankees fan, so kind of a tough baseball season for me. But one of the things that I love about living out on the West Coast is the excessiveness of In-N-Out Burger. It is my favorite cheeseburger in the whole world. So when you come visit, I'll take you out for one. So that's enough about me. I want to have Miranda introduce herself a little bit because I know she does.
I'm Miranda Roberts. I am a Town Web project manager and trainer. So that basically means that I help at the beginning of the website process, helping everybody get set up. So I have a lot of experience working with .gov domains and setting up websites and all the fun technical pieces of that. Some fun facts about me. I'm also located in Wisconsin. I'm in Green Bay. I love to paddleboard, obviously only in the summer because it's freezing. And I also love dogs, coffee. You'll probably see my dog running around behind me here too. So I apologize in advance for that.
We are glad to have you here, Miranda, and me especially. I alluded to this a little bit. I never went through the .gov process as a clerk treasurer. I actually left Wisconsin just as that was starting to become a thing to move out to Nevada. So when we were putting this together, I was like, I know a little bit, but I don't know near enough to be kind of the main technical expert here. So I'm very glad that you're here because I'm going to learn a lot too. A little bit about the Town Web and kind of who we are and what we do. So Town Web as a company is a little bit over 16 years old. We are Wisconsin born and bred with over 710 customers in 41 states. And I actually looked yesterday, it's now up to 725. So that's really awesome. And then a little fun fact about the company as a whole. Most, if not all of our staff love the show Parks and Recreation. We can kind of pigeonhole each other into what character you are and represent and that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a fun fact that it's, we all kind of work in local government for local government, and we're all fans of a show about local government. So if you ever want to talk Parks and Rec, you ever want to talk football, baseball, any of that type of stuff outside of work, of course, we're here for you. We're happy to help. So we're going to jump right in to kind of the .gov meat and potatoes stuff. So, and Miranda's really an expert when it comes to this stuff, as we've mentioned, but we've helped over 100 clients transfer their domains to a .gov, and that could be from a .com, it could be from a .org, anything like that to a .gov. These are 4 of the customers that we currently have: the village of Lone Rock, Bailey's Harbor, and the towns of Mosinee and Teresa, all in Wisconsin. As I said, I never went through this, so I'm really happy that Miranda's here. I'm going to turn it over from her to her so she can talk about what exactly that process entails.
Sure. So I will take control here. So we're going to cover some tech jargon to start with, just because we all want to be on the same page, so we're all familiar with the same thing. So what's a domain? What's an email domain? What are we exactly talking about? So first of all, a domain is going to be the thing that people type in to go to your website. So if your website is townweb.com, they type in townweb.com, that is the domain. It's also used in emails as well. So it's that end part of the email address. So Miranda@townweb.com. So that would be what the domain is. And what people are wanting to do is to switch over to a .gov domain so that it's, your municipality.gov instead of a .com. History of a .gov. The .gov is a top-level domain. It was implemented in 1984 along with .com, .org, .edu, and the goal is to ensure that official services are easily identifiable. So not everybody can actually get a .gov domain. You have to go through a process, and that builds some trust in your organization that you are an actual government entity. So of course, a .org or a .com, that can be obtained by anyone. A .edu, that's only for educational institutions. And like I said, .gov domains are strictly for government entities or services. Now, there are 2 different types of .gov domains. So you'll have it on a federal level. So that's, yourtown.gov, or also on a state level. So like yourtown.wi.gov. Either way, they both identify you as a municipality. There are a couple of differences that we'll cover throughout the presentation, but really either one does get that point across that you are a government entity. So again, shows that you're trustworthy. And then as far as email addresses, it actually comes with a couple of layers of security. So if you're using just a regular Gmail account, you do open yourself up to some hacking, some phishing emails. If you have a .gov, it is a little bit more secure just because it is more official. Okay, so again, we covered that safety. It comes with more security than a Hotmail, Gmail, or AOL. If you're still using AOL, I think it's it's maybe time to change. I'm young, so I've never used an AOL, but if you're still using one, you can change.
I'll just jump in real quick. I have an uncle who is, I'm 43, so he's 11 years older than me. He still has his AOL email address and he still uses it. And I think it's hilarious every time I email him. Every time.
Yeah. Yes. So if you are a government entity, maybe AOL is not what you want to be using to communicate with the public, to communicate with the federal government. Something more official is definitely going to help you out. And it's going to give you a good public perception. So of course, if someone gets an email from a .gov, they're going to trust it. If they get an email from an AOL, it's not going to be quite as trustworthy. So it really makes you more of a trustworthy staple in your community.
And real quick, Miranda, I'm just going to jump in. I think people are also looking for that as well. Residents are looking for that security, just with kind of everything that's been going on in the past, like 4 or 6 years with election security and, being transparent and that sort of thing. So, years ago, and I'm not even trying to date myself, but like maybe 10 years ago, this wasn't such a big deal. People weren't necessarily looking for it, but with cyber issues becoming a thing and phishing emails and that, just all that stuff, people are looking now to make sure they're more aware of making sure the folks that they're communicating with are the real people they want to talk to and not just some person from a different country trying to get something out of them. So I think, yes, it's really good for local governments, county governments, state governments to have that .gov, but I also think there's a big expectation from the people that you guys serve that we want to make sure that we're communicating with the right people.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And the beauty of it is right now, it is free to get a .gov domain. So the federal government used to charge a price for it, but in 2020, of course, like Chris said, all the stuff started changing, and they implemented the change that actually obtaining that domain is completely free. So the process itself, it's fairly straightforward. It's pretty simple. So your first step, you're going to select a domain. You can go to get.gov to see if that domain is available. So of course, you're going to want to pick one that somebody else hasn't already chosen, something that is available for you. Step number 2, you're going to choose who is going to host your DNS. Now, what does that mean? That basically means you're going to pick a technical contact. So if you are a TownWeb customer, that's going to be us. That means that we're going to handle all of the technical details associated with your domain. If you're not a TownWeb customer and you want to choose someone else, you're going to want to make sure that you know who is going to be managing the technical aspects. Your third step is you're going to prepare and submit an authorization letter. The federal government, of course, has a very specific template that they want you to use. That's all linked on their website. It's pretty easy to follow, easy to fill out. You do have to submit that yourself. That isn't something that we're able to do. There are just some details about your municipality that need to be entered in. But you save that as a PDF and you send that to registrar at .gov.gov. So that registrar at .gov.gov, and they're very helpful too. The .gov registrar people are very helpful. So if you are confused when you're filling out that authorization letter or you have any additional questions, they're always available to help you out. Next, once they check that out, you're going to create an online account. They'll send you an email, say, hey, create this account. Again, you're going to fill out more information about your municipality. That does need to be done by you. And at that point, you're going to identify who your administrative contact is and who your technical contact is. So your administrative contact is the highest elected official in your organization, in your municipality. And then the technical contact, that would be us. We're the ones who handle all of the technical things. Next, you got to wait. It is the federal government, so it sometimes takes up to 30 days for them to decide if you are legit, if they want to approve your domain name. And then once it's approved, we jump in. So that's when we would enter in all of the technical details and connect that to your website or to an email account. So now that you have a .gov domain, of course, the emails are going to be separate. So choose your email provider. We at TownWeb do provide emails. We do that through G Suite. And then you're going to choose what email address you want. So a lot of people would do clerk@whatevertown.gov. Oops, jumping around here. A couple of tips, since we've been through the process, we have a couple of pointers for you. So first of all, identify a name before you start the process. It must be either identical or closely related to your municipality's name. Generic domains like licenses.gov are only going to be reserved for federal agencies. And then generic municipality names are only going to be reserved for well-known cities. So like boston.gov, for example. If you are a smaller municipality, you're probably going to need to include your state name at least, and definitely maybe your county name as well. So Town of Scott, I know there's a bunch of Town of Scotts in Wisconsin, so Town of Scott, wi.gov, it's not going to be super identifiable. So Town of Scott, Sheboygan, wi.gov is going to be a little bit more easy to identify which municipality you are. And a fun fact, .gov domains actually don't always work on a first come, first serve basis. So if another municipality makes a case saying they want that domain name, whichever one is more closely related will get that domain name. We haven't seen that happen too often, but it can happen.
I have to say, I had no idea that was a thing. Like, I read that and I was like, you can't be serious, but like that really is a thing. That's incredible.
Yeah. And it's because the federal government actually controls it. So it's not like you're purchasing something and you own that domain.
Right.
The government owns all of it. So city and county.gov domains must include a 2-letter state abbreviation or spell out the state name. So cedartown.georgia.gov, Madison County TN.gov. You can use a hyphen in there. They don't recommend it. They don't say why they don't recommend it, but they don't recommend it. So try to avoid using a hyphen in your domain name. And if you are a county, you're going to need to use the word county. If you're a parish, you're going to need to use the word parish. And it's optional to put city of or town of at the beginning of the domain name. So you could just say, greenbay.gov or cityofgreenbay.gov. That is optional. So whatever works for you and your municipality. Okay, so the transition is very easy for TownWeb customers. So if you do need assistance with that, that's something that we can help you out with. Like Nellet said, we're going to be sending out a cheat sheet at the end. So that'll have all of those instructions that we went over. So we'll send that out to you. If you do need help, let us know. And if you do want emails, we can also help with that as well. So at this point, does anybody have any questions? Anything that wasn't clear, or you need?
We're going to stick around. Yeah, we're definitely. This is the second to last slide. The next one is our contact info, but we're definitely going to stick around. So if you guys have questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the Q&A. If you are interested in transitioning to a .gov, please let us know and we can follow up with you afterwards to get the ball rolling on that. And if, again, as Miranda said, if you're looking for an email vendor, just type me in the chat box and we'll follow up with you afterwards. But we knew this wasn't going to be a super long presentation. I think what's weird about it is that this is one of those government processes that actually isn't overly complicated. And it's a little weird because typically with government processes, they're long and they're arduous and there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. There's not a ton of hoops that you have to jump through. It's just time and waiting and making sure that everything is available. So it's rare, but enjoy it. If you want to go through this, it's pretty easy to go through. So let us know if there's anything that we can do for you. We're going to stick around for a while. We are pretty fun people to talk to as well. So again about anything. But thank you everybody for being here. Always great to see folks back home in Wisconsin, at least for me. Here's our info about how to reach out to us. Email is sales@townweb, and then we've got our phone number, both long distance and then local. If you want to reach out, we're here for you guys. So yeah, I think I see we have a question. I see the wi.gov email domain set up, but it doesn't seem to, or I have the domain set up, but it doesn't seem to want to actually work for the website domain. Is this something that you can help with?
Yes. So we do also do state domains. Of course, if you do a federal domain, we are able to be your technical contact. If you do a state domain, we cannot be the technical contact because the state manages all of that. So what we would do is we can definitely help you get that set up on the website. That's not a problem. We've done it many times before. But what we would do is send you a bunch of technical information. You just forward that email over to your contact at the state, and they'll enter it in for you. So it can definitely connect.
Awesome. Ooh, got another question. Let's see. Do we keep our old website domain and have it just go to the .gov site?
Yes, many people do continue to keep their old domain because if everybody's used to going to the .com, you don't want to shut that down. If you let go of that domain, it also opens up the opportunity for somebody else to buy it because anybody can buy a .com. So we do recommend you hold on to it and we can help you forward it. So if somebody does type in the .com, it just shoots them right over to the .gov.
Awesome. Awesome. These are great questions, you guys. Thank you for asking them. Feel free to throw in some more. We've definitely got time. And I see a lot of people in the chat asking for more information, throwing their emails in. So that's also really appreciate that. We have another one. Will you be able to help with setting up Outlook email with the new .gov?
So we do our emails through G Suite. So that's our email provider is through Google. If you do want to use Outlook to retrieve your emails, we can help you get that set up. So that's it's called an email client. That's where you log in to get your email. So it comes right onto your computer instead of having to type in Gmail. But as far as emails through Outlook, we are not a provider of those. But if you do want to purchase that on your own and purchase the Microsoft email suite, you can send us some technical details and we can help you with that.
Miranda, you are on fire. If we ever attend team trivia and .gov is one of the topics, I want you on my team.
Well, that's good. I'm glad.
All right, let's see. We've got a few more folks in the chat box. Let me just scroll down here. All right. Here we go. What is the process to have our website go to a .gov? We have .gov emails already. Someone walked into this office, so I'm not sure if you cover this. We actually did at the beginning, but I'm going to have Miranda, if you just wouldn't mind giving a really a kind of a short summary of how to go through that process again. I'm going to scroll back up on the presentation here.
Yeah, so if you already have .gov emails, that means you don't need to go through the whole process again of getting the .gov domain. So you've already got the .gov. If we are not your technical contact, we would ask that you make TownWeb your technical contact, and we can, send you some instructions on how to do that. And then at that point, if we are your website provider, it's very easy for us to switch it over. You just need to let us know that that's something you're interested in. Our support team is well versed in how to do that as well. They do it all the time, so you can reach out and we can definitely help you do that. It's not hard at all.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Another question that popped in. I'm not sure who wrote this in because it came in anonymously, but it's regarding a change to the IRS and revenue site. Whomever wrote that in, could you just clarify that a little bit? Because I don't quite understand the question. That would be, I would appreciate that. And let me just check the chat if we've got any more. I don't see any more in there. I don't see any other questions so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick around. For me, it's 9:30. We'll stick around till 9:30, another 6 minutes. Oh, here we go. This is Kirk. So Kirk typed in, if email is changed, then the IRS communicates with email. How hard have others said it was with this change?
I haven't heard anybody complain about it. That's not something that I deal with on my end, of course. That's probably something you're a little bit more familiar with, Chris. I'm communicating with different entities, but I haven't heard anybody complain about it being a difficult process.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just toss my nickels worth in. I don't think it would be too hard. Again, it might be something that you have to wait on just time wise, but I don't think difficult wise. I don't think it's too difficult in terms of communicating. You're just going to have to wait because this is a thing. The .gov thing is something that folks across the entire country are doing. It's not just only limited to Wisconsin. I remember before my wife and I moved out to Nevada, I remember the Wisconsin Elections Commission, the summer of 2021, was kind of their big push to get local governments to move from either a .com or a .org to .gov. And so I handed that off to my two deputies because I was leaving, and they handled that. But that's when Wisconsin made their big push. I'm not sure what other states are going to do or how they're operating, anything like that. But this is something that everybody is going through. So it might take some time. Miranda did mention that. It might take some time to go through that and get it taken care of. But once it's done, and it's great for everybody. So I hope that answered your question, Kirk. If you've got any other questions, for sure, please drop them in the chat or drop them in the Q&A box. We're going to stick around for another 5 minutes and be available. But I've seen some people already drop off. I want to thank all of you guys. Here's a really good question. Do we think it will become a requirement in the future? What's your opinion, Miranda?
It might. I could definitely see it. The Wisconsin Election Commission, like you said, has been doing a real big push, and they say I don't know if they say it's required, but they're very strongly implying that they want you to do it. So I don't think it's a bad thing to get it going now so that you're ready if it does become a requirement.
I think, because as Miranda noted before, I like to have an opinion on everything, and I do. I think this might actually will become a requirement in the future. I don't know how long, but I think one of the things that would, at least for me, if I was still a clerk, it's still free. So as long as it's free, I would do it. If it becomes a requirement in the future, they might institute some sort of a fee. While it's free to take advantage of that because it may not always be free either. So it's really up to you guys what you want to do. But I could see the federal government or even state governments saying, official communication needs to happen through official channels. And, if you don't have one, that's an issue that needs to be resolved. I don't know that they're going to do that. I certainly can't predict the future, but I could see it happening. So that's a really good question, Julia. Got a few people dropping off, which is totally great. Again, thank you for attending. We really appreciate that. Any other questions that you guys have, we'll be here for another couple minutes, and then we'll follow up with our cheat sheet. And if you need to reach out to us, again, there's our contact info. We're happy to help you with anything.